Hello, thank you for the interview. And well, I haven't really been doing that much lately. It's been a few guest vocals, which will be announced probably later this year. And for the rest, I really haven't. I've been having more like a bit of a sabbatical, I guess. And it's not really that I quit doing stuff in the music, but I've just been laying low. Let's call it that. And for later on, there might be some new things coming up, or maybe some old stuff. I don't know exactly what's going to be happening. So, well, I started by liking metal in the early or mid 80s, really, and from there on it got more extreme because that was uh, hardcore getting more involved, like MDC and Accused and things like that. And after that, um, there were more British bands coming up, like Napalm Death and stuff like that, Earache. Then Eric, of course, released Reek of Putrefaction, Carcass, and then that was really the first gore grind next to S.M.E.S and Carnage. Exit 13 was around that time starting to do stuff like the Unrequited Love for Chicken Soup EP, which was really cool. I really loved that. Incision from Sweden, Dan Swano. It's really cool. I loved that. That was the early gore grind really that I started getting into, and then after that, I mean, it was a bigger flow after Carcass got bigger. So that was really the bands that I was listening to, and at that time I liked the horror and the gore movies and stuff like that. They were splatter movies that were the thing back then, and I really liked those. And it didn't really have to be so realistic. It could be soda pop machines almost blowing the blood and stuff like that. But I like those kind of things, and the kind of stop motion things that they did in Evil Dead with the clay things, I guess. I like those kind of things, and I don't really think you see things like that unless it's trauma or something like that. Then you probably see something like that. But so I'm not really into the movies anymore. So yeah, before all I started off in the late 80s, I think it was 88, something like that, with the band called Scrotum. I played bass guitar in that. Uh, we had some minor rehearsal recordings, but never really any releases. So that wasn't really a serious. It was a serious band, but nothing really came out of it. And after that, I started S.M.E.S, and I did Cots with yours of Romperprop, drummer Romperprop, and I've done Pussy Torpedo with Kyle of Dysmeneric Hemorrhage, and later on with Danta of Romperprop. And I have done Urine Cop, which is a noise project from Adam, who at the time lived in USA somewhere. Always fun to do. I like doing noise stuff. It's I don't really listen to it very often, but just to do it is pretty cool. And so some guest vocals, and that's about the bands. So I was the vocalist for Last Days of Humanity from about 2001 till about 2005. And the releases that I was on, I grabbed them really quick here. I have the split with Stoma. This is a very limited edition. It's limited to 20, but it's the split with Stoma. And then there's the Dutch Assault on Relapse with S.M.E.S and Last Days of Humanity on there. We have the live CD, these in advanced hemorrhaging conditions. We have the split with Satan's Revenge on Mankind, the split with War Scars, great band, I love them, and 4.23 minutes live. And then there was some more CDs that have re-releases on them, and some extra compilation CDs that have some songs on them. I guess that's probably it. A lot of the stuff has been re-released, so I'm just showing you one of the releases each. I went to a gig of Last Days of Humanity in Efna in Eindhoven, and at that time Boris of Suppository was doing the vocals for Last Days of Humanity, just to until Last Days of Humanity found their own vocalist again. And I was talking to William, and in the conversation S.M.E.S came up, and he asked me if I could send him a tape, I think, and I did, and he contacted me because he liked the vocals on it, and he asked me if I wanted to check out rehearsal and see if we could do something with that, and I did. And yeah, that was really the beginning of it. And, after that, I think 2 weeks after the first rehearsal, we played in Belgium live, so that was kind of short notice, but yeah, we made it work. And after that, yeah, we played quite a few gigs. There was some festivals and some small-time venues, and I really liked all of it. I mean, whether it's really large stuff or if it's just like a small cafe basement or something like that. Yeah, it's got different vibes, but they're all cool. And I mean, the people in the scene are most of them just great people. So, and they're a lot of fun. So, yeah, I really like doing all those gigs, and there's quite a few of them still on YouTube. And you know, sometimes there is a new one popping up, and then it's always cool to see those memories back again. It's hard to say if I have a really most favorite band. I collect stuff of Septic Death, the hardcore band with Poseidon vocals. Other than that, I really like Satan's Revenge on Mankind. I played Exulceration, Split, mostly the Exulceration side. Some dysmenorrheic hemorrhage. Methadone abortion clinic I really like lately, and it's really hard. It kind of depends on my mood. Sometimes I feel like something really noisy, like Disgrace to the Corpse of Sid by the Sore Throat, and sometimes it's Dread Zeppelin or something like that. It really depends on the mood and the times, really. So in the summer, it's sometimes completely different from what I like to play in winter. So, and it's not always gore grind. There's also hardcore and like Adrenaline OD or Accused, and MDC, some GBH sometimes. It kind of fluctuates between that, and then there's some other things that I do like, and I really just in if it's a special mood, I guess. That's really things. So it's really hard to really call something my most favorite band. It's sometimes it's this band and sometimes it's that band. S.M.E.S, I started really because I was not very good at playing instruments, and I really wanted to make music, and with the electronics I can really do all the instruments myself, and yeah, like you say, there's some techno in there, but there's also jazz or some reggae or ska, something like that in there, and I mean, it's fun for me to experiment and mix the gore grind and the other kinds of music together, and I think it doesn't have to be a specific gore grind or techno, and I think it can be mixed together, and I think that's kind of the setup for S.M.E.S, and I do like techno, just to listen to it every now and then. It's not days on thing, but yeah, every now and then I like to listen to the harder techno, the Sensation Black or Brutalismus 3000, if it's not too pop music-y kind of songs. Then yeah, I really enjoy those too. I definitely like Libido Airbag, Nano Commando, and Amado Granujo. They are all different in their own kind of way. I mean, Amado, I think they separate their grind from the techno. I think it's a swish goes to techno and a swish goes to gore grind, and non-horror commando plays with real instruments, and the Beetle Airbag, they have more of a drum and bass kind of influence, I think, and I don't really have that, but I guess all things that I listen to are kind of influencing me, because that's just it kind of steers my mind going some way, I guess, and in that way, those bands must have been influencing me, because I like all three of those bands. So yeah, I guess they did, but not in a copycat kind of way. Of course, I can't talk for the other bands, but I wouldn't take S.M.E.S very serious. I mean, it hasn't been made to be brutal or cool or something like that. It's mostly tongue-in-cheek, and I think you can probably see that from the titles and some of the intros and things like that. It's a bit of I guess a B-movie trauma kind of sense of humor, maybe, that's mixed in with trying to get brutal stuff out there, and yeah, so yeah, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, is what I would call it, and it's not porno cybergrind or something like that. That has nothing to do with porno. Sometimes there's porno-like titles, but more just because it's funny, instead of it being brutally porno or something like that. For Butcher MD, I was contacted by Kirill at that time, and he asked if I could do vocals for Butcher MD, and we would see how it would go. And we, well, I did, and we had some releases coming out from that, and after that, don't know what really happened, but the contact got worse, and he thanked me for my services, and were gonna do something by themselves without me, and after that, I never really heard anything about them anymore. So I guess it's over. At least my time with RMD is over. I'm happy with the releases that we've got. I really like them, and yeah, it's too bad that it ended. But well, the stuff that's there, I really like. I'm still happy that I can entertain people with that. Other types of art I really think are interesting for me. Not so much as an influence on my music, but just artworks that you can hang on a wall or something like that. I think is always cool, and I think it's I always can compare things like that with the music, because noise can be compared to abstract artworks that are people saying about that their 3-year-old would be able to do something like that. They never do. And I think that's like the same with noise. I mean, abstract and noise, I think, are the same in a different category. So, because I've heard the same thing about noise, that 3-year-olds could do that, which they never have either. So that's pretty comparable, and I think then S.M.E.S is more a surrealistic kind of art, like Dali or something like that. Not the height and things, but you know, it sounds like there's a guitar, and it sounds like there's a bass, but there's some weird stuff going on here and there, and it all isn't true, because it's not a bass guitar, and it's not a guitar, and it's not drums. It's just a computer thingy. So I think that's a bit comparable, and I think that art in that way, I really look at art that way. There's styles and things like that I can really compare to music, and I really like that. Other pieces of art that I could really enjoy are sometimes movies or something like that, like art movies, like 12 minutes long of some weird stuff, and they could be weird, but sometimes still make you think. And I think that's if it's got a deeper meaning to it or something like that, then I can really appreciate things like that. Well, thanks very much for your interest, and to everybody else who's watching. And that's not true. That's not true. No, thank you very much for your interest, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and that you know everything that you wanted to know. If not, then hey, shoot me a message or something if anybody wants to know something. It might take a while before I answer, but I usually do answer. So yeah, reach out, and thanks very much, everybody, for all the support always. Thank you.